Now, what we have here is a very delicate instrument, not to be taken for granted. This is the FT920 HF radio station at the W8DC shack. This is not a toy. Okay, first thing you've got to do is make sure everything's set up here right. That's the hardest problem. So that's what we're going through here. We're going to make sure everything is set up. Audio gain here. And you got your mic gain there. You got your RF power. That's your RF output power. And your RF gain. And let's see, you got DSP here if you think you need it. Digital signal processing. And we're going to have a little cheat sheet here set up so that you know how to operate this by just looking at a piece of paper and get right into it. Had a lot of complaints. People don't feel comfortable operating this radio. So we're going to go through it step by step. You're on an antenna. So let's first figure out an antenna here. Now, first thing you got to do is go over to the switch here, which is just above the radio, to the right of the radio, and pick an antenna. You've got 3 antennas to choose from. You've got a multiband vertical, an 80-meter dipole, which is a multiband dipole. Number 3 is our 160-meter tower, which is an interesting one. And number 4 is our sloper, which we no longer have. So forget that one. Okay. So here's spinning the dial. This changes the frequency. Oh, there's some of that C what? C who? CW, that's what that is. And then you got a quick shuttle jog, which takes you from CW very quickly into single sideband. And I'm on the wrong sideband. So you pick sideband up here. There we go. If you have problems tuning in a station, check your sideband. Make sure you're on the right one. Okay, so we've got a frequency picked out. We've got a band picked out. If you need help on what frequency, what band, there should be a sheet here. We're going to keep one close by so that we know which band, what frequency amateur radios can operate on. That being said, W8DC is an extra class license, so we can operate anywhere in the amateur bands.
Appreciate that. This is Kilo Juliet 4, Yankee Mike AJ 4, and QRZ Georgia QSO Party.
Now there's a Georgia QSO party. Next week we'll have a Michigan QSO party. And we will have the shack open for that.
Japan 4, Yokohama, Mexico, KJ4YM, CQ on the Georgia QSO party.
Now,
Whiskey Apple 5, I missed the...
I should try to go back to that guy and give him a point. So what I'll do is first do a quick check here. Let's see. I'm going to tune off frequency just a little bit from him. And we're just going to do this without any amplification whatsoever. We're going to try to keep this simple. We've got our antenna picked out. Now there's also an antenna AB here. There's nothing on B, and A is our regular antenna. There's also one called RX. That's a receive antenna. You can leave that on receive, and when you transmit, it switches automatically back to the other antenna, the transmit antenna. If you don't want to use the receive antenna, and the receive antenna is just for lots of noise. If you get lots of noise, you want to try the receive antenna. That might eliminate some of that noise. And you got A, B, and there you go. So anyway, I tuned off frequency just a little bit from that station. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the RF power And I'm going to change my meter selection to standing wave, SWR. And I'm going to key up. First I'm going to go to FM. Now I know FM is not used on HF bands, but this helps us to tune up. Now this is one way of doing it. It's my preferred way. So what happens is when you key up on FM with your microphone, you key up, you find out what your standing wave is. It's very low. It's 1.3 to 1. And you look at your output power, and it says 100 watts. Now, I also noticed that the tuner is in line, so I'm going to take the tuner out. This radio has a built-in antenna tuner. I'm going to take that out of line. And that is out of line because I just pulled it out of line. There's a little tuner button right up here. Tuner's in line, tuner's out of line. Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll key that microphone again, and I find out my match is even better now without the tuner. It's a 1-to-1 match and 100 watts output. Keep your transmissions very short because we don't want to interfere with people out there. Alright, so I know everything's good. I'm going to go back to single sideband, and we're going to see if we can make a contact with this station. Turn the audio up.
CQ George Cuso Party. CQ George Cuso Party. This is Team Japan 4. Yokohama, Mexico. Juliet 4. Yankee Mike calling CQ George Cuso.
Whiskey 8 Delta Charlie.
Whiskey 8 Delta Charlie. That's calling. Copy. This is Kilo Juliet 4 Yankee Mike. Copy 59 into Cosmo County, Georgia. QSL.
QSL. Name here is Tom. I'm in Michigan. I'm not sure what the exchange is. Over.
I copy Tom in Michigan. I appreciate the contact there. It's a new multiplier for me. Appreciate that a whole lot. Good luck.
Good luck.
This is Kilo Juliet 4 Yankee Mike KJ41 QRZ George Cuso Party.
Okay, so that was Georgia, and that's on 20 meters. Fairly simple. Nothing to it. So basically, that's it. I mean, there's a lot of buttons on here that you have to try out. Mic gain, if you're not sure of anything, put it about, if anything, put everything about 12 o'clock. If you're not sure of where you're at, put everything about 12, with the exception of the audio gain there. That might be a little bit loud. And start from there. Mic gain should be around 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, something like that. AF gain, turn up to a nice level. RF power, well, until you get it loaded up, make sure it's about 100 watts, or over mid-scale, and you can crank it over. The RF gain is a nice control because what happens with the RF gain is it changes the signal level or attenuates the signal level to some degree, which gives you a nice quiet sound. Now I'll give you an example of that. Excuse me. Okay, that's without the. This is without the RF. This is with the RF gain turned all the way up. No gain, no limiting at all. And when I turn the gain on, it eliminates a lot of that background noise. You just don't want to eliminate the signal that you want to try to hear. Also, the internal preamp is off. IPO means the internal preamp is off. That's very handy for the low bands like 75, 80, 160. You don't need an internal amp on those bands. When you get to the higher bands, then you use the internal preamp, and then that would be, you wouldn't see that anymore. Well, that's a quick rundown. Let's see how that looks.